I'm here today to drive home a conclusion the Bahamian people have already reached themselves. FNM's last-minute election season allegations about events that took place years ago are straight-out lies, and nothing more than an attempt to distract voters from the FNM's terrible record of failure. Under the FNM, murder records have been set for 4 out of 5 years. They axed urban renewal. They ended swift justice and witness protection. They have presided over record increases in violent crimes. They raised taxes during a recession. They're borrowing millions from the Chinese to pay an Argentine company to build roads. They cut education funding. They don't have a clue about how to create jobs in the 21st century. They have failed to invest in Bahamians, and they have failed to put Bahamians first. So you can see why they don't want this election to be about their record. Bahamians are too smart, though. They're too smart to buy charges invented on the eve of an election. Years ago, as a union leader fighting for working Bahamians, I stood up to Hubert Ingram, calling him a coward when he was too scared to face demonstrators. Well, I've never stopped fighting for Bahamians. And we all know about how Hubert Ingram feels about people willing to stand up to him. So you probably won't like this much either. In our term, we built more than 1,400 homes, built out more than 500 service lots, and we were able to put more than 4,000 Bahamians into homes. We came in and fixed a department that was millions in debt, without proper contracts or procedures, without enough engineers or inspectors. We turned the housing ministry around, and because of our work, thousands of Bahamians had a place to live. The FNM hasn't even come close to matching that record of success. So let's run through the many ways the FNM is wrong. They are wrong in starting the construction of the subdivision without getting all of the necessary approvals from the town planning. As you know, a new town planning and subdivisions bill was passed back in 2010, requiring more strict procedures in the beginning of the construction of any subdivision. I was advised by town planning that that approval has not yet been issued to the Ministry of Housing for these subdivisions. They were wrong on the fact that I was never a signatory to any bank account while I was the minister responsible for housing. They are wrong on the fact that urban renewal was never under housing, as from its inception, urban renewal was placed under the Ministry of Housing, and it remained there until February of 2006, when they had a reassignment of portfolios and the urban renewal department was transferred to the office of the Prime Minister. They're wrong on the fact that any minister would have tried to influence the granting of any mortgage to any applicant. I have never directly or indirectly given any directives to anyone directly or indirectly at the Bahamas Mortgage Corporation, instructing them or suggesting that we approve a mortgage for any applicant. And they are wrong on the fact that the Ministry of Housing has never, ever built houses during 2002 to 2007 on 50 lots that were owned by the private sector and on lots that were not owned by the government of the Bahamas or one of its agencies. The only properties we built houses on was either lots that we compulsorily acquired, lots that we purchased outright, or lots owned by either the Crown or the Treasurer. And so for anybody to suggest that 50 houses were built on lots owned by the private sector and not owned by housing, that is absolutely a lie. And so we stand here today on another subdivision, one of 3, that is now being constructed by the Ministry of Housing. And as you can see, none of these subdivisions have any infrastructure. No roads, no electricity, no water, no telephone. And so when I speak about hypocrisy in governance, I speak about the hypocrites in the Free National Movement who criticized the PLP for constructing homes and subsequently putting in infrastructure when they're now doing the exact same thing here in Fire Trails and Mackey Yard at the Sunset subdivision. And as we speak right now today, there are almost 50 houses in the Spring City Abaco subdivision that have been completed for more than a year and a half, but they are unoccupied because there is no infrastructure, no electricity, no roads, no water. The homes are battened up and they're being vandalized, which will cost the corporation millions of dollars perhaps to try and rejuvenate whenever the time comes to occupy them. Thank you very much.